Hey guys, Sean with Fairly Local Plumbing. I'm here to show you how to assemble and install different plumbing applications, also to answer any questions you might have. Today we're going to learn how to assemble a Gerber Maxwell toilet. So let's get started. So the first thing obviously is to unbox everything. This is your bowl. This will be the bottom part of it. I like to do this on the bed of my toilet, that way, or the bed of my truck, so that way I don't have to bend over and lean. That way I can just get it all kind of set up and ready. First we'll start with our toilet seat. I like to face the toilet away from me, the bowl facing away from me. That way when I get ready to put the toilet seat on, it's a lot easier to access the bolts and to make sure that it's straight where it's supposed to be. So get all my bolts out. I like to throw my garbage away as I go. Keep things clean, that way I don't have to think about looking at things. So I like to take my razor blade here, and right here on the edge there's these caps. And that's where your bolts are going to go in. Take your razor blade, just pop them up, depending on which type of seat you have, but that's how this one works. Some of your seats might have rubber gaskets that go underneath there, different kinds of assemblies. Some will pop down through, just depending, but today is a very simple assembly. We'll get our bolts, put them down through the holes, and these are our nuts. So they've got two different ways that they can face. We want the rounded part to go towards the front, towards the top, so that way there's a little hole right here, it'll sit in that groove really well. So get your nuts kind of just started. Sometimes they're easy, sometimes they're hard. It's plastic. I do this a lot, so I'll usually use some tools you might need. I use my screw gun for these. You can also use Phillips head screwdriver. Phillips head screwdriver, same thing. It's even big enough you can use a flathead inside there. And then I usually have a pair of pliers or channel locks or something small that I'll show you later to assemble. So we've got our toilet seat. I usually just take it and I kind of feel the roundness of the whole bowl. Make sure that my seat is sitting where it needs to be. I'll hold my nut with one hand and I'll take my screw gun. Just slowly get it snug and just give it a little extra turn. If you do it too much, it'll break that bolt, so you kind of get a feeling of how it goes. You can also just take your screwdriver, same thing, hold the nut on the bottom, screw it down until it feels pretty tight. Close the caps, then feel. Make sure your toes nice and tight. You don't want it to move around when you go to sit down. All right, so the next thing we're going to have is our tank. So I'll take my tank, get a piece of cardboard set up there to protect it. Set up here like that. These are your china caps. These are going to go on down here below on your base. When you go and set it on the flange, tighten it down. This is what's going to be on there. So I throw that in my back pocket. Here's all the parts that are going to go on this tank. The gasket, and you'll have bolts and rubber gaskets. I'll show you how to use those. This comes with, if you have an old supply line with solid line that goes to it, that's what this would be used for. These two little pieces, but we don't need those today. We're going to have a regular, just a stainless steel supply line. So the first thing, usually what I do is I'll take my gasket, just push it on there. This is going to create the seal between your tank and your bowl. This big hole right here. Next thing we have our toilet bolts. So I have our bolt. We have these rubber gaskets. These are going to go on here first, and then we're going to feed them from inside the tank down towards the bowl. This is what's going to create the seal that holds all the water inside the tank, keep it from leaking. Put that inside there. Inside here we have our flapper, our fill valve, and our handle. So now we've got those through. These Gerbers come with these little speed nuts. That's to keep that bolt from moving around. It also gives it another layer of protection where you can tighten this down, and it'll keep that gasket up there inside there nice and tight. That way that water doesn't sneak past and want to run down that bolt. So get that hand tight. Put it on here. And then what I do is I take my little mini channel locks. You don't have to go really tight. Give it, a couple extra turns. That way you know that that's not going to go anywhere. And that gasket inside is tight. Okay, so we've got our, going to tighten down inside there. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to set it on top. Oh, before that, these Gerbers come with these little rubber square gaskets. Basically what they do is they keep this, when we tighten this down to the bowl, it keeps that from jiggling around, and it keeps you from actually cracking that bowl. If you tighten it down too much, it'll crack it. So this is just kind of a little extra protection to keep it where it's supposed to be and to keep it from jiggling around. So we set that down on there. Put a second set of speed nuts. Tighten it up, and I like to lean it to one side, kind of get it, that side decently tight. I'll put some pressure on this side. What we're looking for here, obviously you want the bowl to be straight with the tank, or the tank to be straight with the bowl. But then also right here, let's see if I can see. This right here, we want that gap to be sealed. So we have all the way around here. We want that whole thing to settle down and to be tight. We don't want that thing to flop around all over the place. So we get that hand tight. That side is now touching. Get it back over to this side. Tighten it back down. That side's touching. And then again, not over tightening it, but just giving it a little extra turn on there. Now this is nice and tight. It's not going anywhere. It's not flopping all around and moving all around and creating problems later. So then also in our tank box, we'll have our lid. Don't put this on before you walk in with it, because you will drop it, like I've done plenty of times. Forgetting that it's there. All right, that's basically how to assemble this. And when you get ready to install it, make sure everything's nice and square. And that's all for that. Thank you. Click like and subscribe. And please leave a comment below if you have any questions or concerns. And I just thank you. Have a blessed day.